Thank you so much. It's perfect. So in December, I was in Phoenix, and I was the first person ever in the hot seat. I listened to every workshop you do multiple times that you said, get ready to be ready. And I just made that my mantra in life. And so a couple of things have happened, and I want to dive deeper into getting more, even more into the receiving mode.
And before you do,
yes,
we just want to ask you, because we can feel how much you mean everything that you just said and what you've been doing. We just want to make sure that we've got the right emphasis on get ready to get ready, because it sounds like trying, and that's not what we mean. Because if we say get ready for this, that's trying too hard. But if we say get ready for this, that's not trying too hard. We're just emphasizing that in light of the conversation that we just had. Yeah.
So in my readiness, I have been meditating every day, visualizing, doing rampages of appreciation, hiking, chilling out with my dogs, and working when I feel inspired, which I have been. So my business partner called me and said, hey, hun, which always means that he wants me to do a lot of stuff. So I said, hey, hun. And he said, I think it's time for us to do a TV show, because I owned the sales rights on Minecraft and World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, and he started Tap Out, and we teach people how to do t-shirts. And I said, that does sound like a good idea, but let's do XYZ first, and then I'll go talk to the production companies. And then 2 days later, out of the blue, a production company emailed us out of the blue. I had made zero conversation effort and said, we have a show on A&E that we want you to do.
But let's note that as your business partner is asking for something maybe further down the road, you say, knowing, because you've been practicing getting ready to be ready to be ready, and so you offer that clarity. In other words, there's just a little piece of something that should come first. You offer it softly, not getting out to make that happen. And are you saying to us, it just came to you? Not out of the blue, but in response to your having been ready for that. So there you are. Then
that particular TV show didn't go through with that particular production company. And I'm not making any effort to make that happen still.
Because you were ready for that, but not ready for all of that. And so the fact that you were ready for that, ready for that, ready for that. So if there's no impatience about what didn't happen, you're further along than you were, aren't you? And what's the attitude in being further along than you were? What's the feeling of that?
It feels amazing.
Victory.
Yeah, victory. Yeah.
Success. In other words, further along than you were, not all the way over there, but further along. And that manifestation as it came is really something worth vibrationally celebrating, which is what that emotion of exhilaration and satisfaction, the emotion of satisfaction is. And then,
so it's a three-pronged thing, the TV show, and then I've been wanting this house in Boulder, this beautiful multi-million-dollar house. And every time I think about getting the house, then it's resistance.
Because you weren't ready to be ready to be ready, because you know too much. If you had said this beautiful house, that's softer and there's less resistance in this multi-million-dollar house. Every time you said multi, you added more resistance to the equation.
So then, but what's happening manifestationally is, because I have a lot of exceedingly wealthy friends, I'm just getting invited to go all over the country. I'm staying in one of the nicest houses that exists in Seattle for the next 2 weeks. And it is a multi-million-dollar house that I don't have to write the check on every month.
That's worth feeling the ownership of. That's prosperity that's come to you. And we can feel that you're working the bugs out of that resistance a little bit, because you're having the experience of it. The universe has yielded it to you. It is your experience. It is a manifestation that's happening. And if you're not splitting hairs about anything, then that can serve you in a powerful way. Yes, and is.
And the same with the relationship. I had an amazing man come in, and it's just not quite the right one, but I am celebrating that, this is so nice that this came. Success. Yes.
And so this getting ready to be ready is taking on a whole new meaning to you, isn't it? In other words, instead of taking score all the way out, you're happy to see that the universe is yielding what you are vibrationally equivalent to. Whatever you're ready for, the universe will yield. And whatever you're ready for, the universe will yield its vibrational equivalency. There's something to consider. When you achieve vibrational equivalency with what your inner being knows, then you make it all the way home on all these subjects. But meanwhile, you're making it as far as your vibrational equivalent, which gives you the emotional awareness of what you're now reaching for, yes? We're not asking you to settle. We're asking you to be happy with where you are, which isn't settling, because there's constant motion forward, isn't there? Yeah.
So because I do know what I know,
Yes.
sometimes when something doesn't manifest in the way, mostly with a relationship, I'm like, well, what am I missing here? And I don't want to turn in that direction, but I do.
Well, we do for a moment, because I do know what I know, and we want to say, but there must be something that you do not know. You must think you know something that you don't know. And this is the thing that we're just having this conversation for the first time ever about. Your inner being knows everything that you're asking for. And you think you know it, but you don't really know it until you're vibrating it. Can you follow that? Until you're really vibrationally equivalent, until you have really allowed the universe to yield it to you in its fullness, you don't really know it. So are we saying it takes the full manifestation to really know it? Well, no, because that means you'd have to be there and already have, that would mean you'd already have to live in a multi-million-dollar house in order to attract another multi-million-dollar house, and that is not the case at all. So the piece that you're not quite knowing came in the words, the evidence of it came in the words, maybe you didn't say the words, maybe you just offered the vibration of it. When you're taking score, what has come in the form of a relationship isn't everything that you wanted, and it's that awareness that there are missing pieces that is keeping you vibrationally equivalent to the absence of what you want instead of to the presence of what you want. Are you following us? She's been listening to us for a long while, and this is really leading edge conversation that we're having here. And the thing that we really want you to hear is, again, what we're talking about is being able to divert your attention from what is and put your attention upon what is wanted. And they're sometimes very far apart. In this case, not that far apart. But still, if what is has more of your attention than the vibrational essence of where you're going, then there's not satisfaction. And that's why our friend offered such important conversation. She was receiving the block of thought when she offered it. She said, I'm creating emotionally. I can feel that there's an emotional conversation that I'm having. Can't quite find the words. In fact, couldn't find the words, the essence of it. So what we're saying is, it will be really satisfying when you are all the way there with that partner that you have created. That will be really satisfying. The question is, can it be satisfying now? But that's the part that you said, I might be missing something, because as long as you're noticing that there's something missing, then it's not satisfying now. And that's the thing that trips you all up about so many things, is that you're so accustomed to being satisfied when you get the whole enchilada that you don't allow it to keep evolving as it would if you could just cool your jets and be happy with it as far as it's come along the way. And you said some of that. You said, and then out of the blue, I didn't even ask for a production company, and then someone called me and there they were. What are you going to take away from that? Are you taking away the satisfaction of you merely had to say the words and there it was? Or you merely had to say the words and they came but then it went away? Where are you leaving that emotionally?
So with the production company, it's quite easy. I'm like, oh, this is a total win. Obviously, people want to watch this.
Quite easy, because there's not
easy.
so much invested, because you don't have beliefs that are working against you. That's like blue glass and feathers and butterflies. It's easy to have that free-flowing thought about that, and harder relative to the other, but it's still the same thing. Yeah.
So I have two questions about that. How do I get from there to there? Like, how do I turn my attention away from something that I want so much? And I've softened it so much over the years.
Isn't that the big question? Say it again.
Yes, it is.
Say it again.
So I want a life partner. How do I...
Just ask that question again.
How do I turn my attention away from something that I want
so much? From something that I want so much. That I want so much. There's a clue. There's a clue. In the wanting it so much, there's awareness of the gap. And so when we're talking about vibrational equivalency, do you think there is any gap in the vibration of your inner being between the vortex version and the full manifested version? No gap whatsoever. Gap. And it's natural that there would be, because your humanness is sticking out like a sore thumb. In other words, everybody's doing it, but this is what you're reaching for. You've got to feel the certainty of it, not the trepidation of it, not the tentativeness of it. And it's easier to do in things that you don't care about so much, or it's easier to do in things where you've had lots of success, or it's easier on subjects where you think there are endless avenues. But somehow you've convinced yourself, and this is the answer you've been looking for from us, and we usually don't give you an answer like this. We usually ask you to live enough life until it comes to you. But you've convinced yourself that there is rarity in this relationship that you want.
I have.
There isn't rarity. There's just a vibrational belief in it that is making it hard to find. But it's not. Production companies, yeah, they'll come anytime you just relax and allow them. Almost everything comes to you as soon as you relax and allow it. Not that. That's rare. Perhaps non-existent.
Okay. I do have one other question.
Well, that's an important discussion to have. So how do you work your way out of that? You don't work your way out of that. You have to let the universe prove to you the existence of something you don't believe in. You have to let the universe prove to you the existence of something you don't believe in. You can't. The universe cannot prove to you the existence of something that you don't believe in. It can't happen. It can't happen because those two competing forces are going on within you. So you either have to distract yourself and stay off that subject altogether, or you have to soften that. But that's the thing. You see, you've thought so much about it. That's why these two conversations were important to have together. You've thought so much about it. This is that effort factor that we're wanting you all to kind of water down a little bit and try a little less hard and expect a little more.
Yeah. So sometimes, because I have been listening to you for years and years, and I have wanted a relationship for years and years, so then it doubts my ability to actually create it. So how do I move through that?
By hearing these words that you've heard us say so many times. What is doesn't mean diddly squat, and neither does what has been. But if what is occupies enough of your attention that you keep perpetuating it, then it keeps changing to more of the same. Things are always changing to more of the same. So our friend asked it at the first question today, how do you change a belief when reality is proving your belief wrong or your belief right? How do you change a belief when what you believe keeps showing itself to you? Well, you've got to accept something beyond the physical reality. That's why we are so smug about what we bring to the party. And almost everyone stands there. What is so easy to believe because there are so many facts swirling all around it. What is so easy to believe. And we say, yeah, but there's something else that you could believe in, a vortex. And you say what? A vortex? What's that? Well, that's a vibrational version. Well, I've never thought about that before. Well, it's time that you start thinking about it. Well, okay, I'll think about the vortex version. Where is it? And we say, over there. And you say, I can't see it. We say, therein lies your problem. I can't see it, and I can't hear it, and I can't smell it, and I can't taste it, and I can't touch it. This I can. So it's a lot easier to believe in what is than in what isn't. And we say, that's the thing that we want you to understand. Don't say that the vibrational version is that which isn't. Because it is. But emotions are going to take you to it. You've got to feel your way to it. You have to feel it and trust it. You have to know it. You have to be satisfied with the feeling of it and not need the full-blown manifestation, which you're getting really, really good at as you're getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. So it's like saying, all right, well, I'm willing to wait for a lot of things, just not that. I've waited too long. I'm tired of waiting for that. I don't want to wait for that anymore. And we say, then you can't get there. Not only do you have to wait, you got to be satisfied while you wait. Oh, Abraham, now you've gone way too far. The other day, Esther was with someone. They were doing something. And the people they were doing it with were so not good at what they were doing. And the woman kept saying to them, thank you for your patience. And finally Esther said, you must be talking about somebody else. We are not patient. Finally Esther said, give me a break. You guys need to get your act together. Do you know how much time has been, well, Clearly, they weren't ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, and Esther wanted to give them all the responsibility for it. But she was not feeling patience, and when you're not feeling patience, it couldn't get better. The reality was that they were inept, and their computer systems were too.